What is this? What did he do? Atlas Intel Republican primary. Vance is 37%. Rubio, 18. Trump Jr., 8.8. New. Ron DeSantis at 8. God, Ron DeSantis. Atlas Intel, 28. Democratic primary. Buttigieg at 31.5. Oh, my Lord. All it took was for him to go on the Andrew Schultz podcast. Oh, my God. Americans are so malleable and so easy to manipulate. It is crazy. But some good news, at least. AOC is at 19.4%, up 3.5. Kamala Harris is at 16.6%, minus 7 points. That's good. Sanders is not on there. Yes, he's not because he's 700,000 years old. Please stop. I do worry a lot about Pete Buttigieg. I worry a lot about Pete Buttigieg because he is a great communicator in exactly the ways that MSNBC watching liberal moms enjoy, and that is terrifying for me. He is not like Obama. Obama had broad appeal. I don't think Pete has broad appeal beyond a Democratic primary, and even then, not as much appeal within the Democratic primary as he ran for the Democratic primary and did not succeed in the Democratic primary prior to this. So he does not have... A Republican would win 500 electoral votes against him? I don't know about that. Can you explain why he's bad? Because he is a machine politician and a neoliberal through and through, but he also has the capacity to speak the language of progress, but in a way that only, in a frequency that only wine moms enjoy. Okay? He is a shark. He is exactly the type of guy he's exactly the type of dude that a lot of these fucking college educated chatters will say, I don't understand why you don't like him. He seems to be a very smart guy. Yeah, he is. He is a very smart guy. Okay. I'm frustrated by that. I'm worried about that. But in the process of being a very smart guy and tailoring his messaging, he has a lot of pop-off moments, a lot of good moments, and a lot of insane moments that are that showcase his the extent of his ability to communicate a progressive vision. Like when he said Medicare for all, in parentheses, those who want it. Not an Obama kind of politician, because Obama was fucked up enough to go the full distance. Obama straight up ripped into Hillary Clinton for the Iraq war and then did the troop surge, okay? Obama was able to literally lie his face off and present himself as a candidate for change and hope and progress, only to turn around and not do any of those things. Pete Buttigieg, on the other hand, is not even lying. I worry if he actually does lie, because he will become an even more powerful figure to deal with. Having said that, Pete Buttigieg is a soldier for the cause. He is a soldier for the establishment Democrats, okay? He's a McKinsey consultant. He fixed bread prices in Canada. He intentionally deceives and misleads those who might be following him into thinking he might entertain a working class agenda, which, to be honest, he would die to ever keep from ever arriving. Yes. How are his politics different from Biden's? When did I say that? I think even Joe Biden, first of all, the only difference between him and Joe Biden, I would say, is that, one, he doesn't have the long career of doing like white supremacist politics in America in the way that Joe Biden did. Not to say that he wouldn't actually end up contributing to a white supremacist agenda if he was in power, considering his short stint as a mayor in a small town, and what he did with the police force there. But also, Joe Biden at least walked the picket line. When Pete Buttigieg appears at a picket line, he looks like a Pinkerton. Okay? Like, I hate Joe Biden. He's a genocide dare. He was not the working class hero that he tried to present himself as. Having said that, he did actually go to the UAW picket line. when Pete Buttigieg would like go to a picket line, he'd ask questions like, how much money do you have on your strike funds? How much money do you have remaining on your strike funds? Like instantly. Anyone who knows anything about labor unions, like when they see a guy like Pete Buttigieg, is exactly the same disgust that people have for the likes of JD Vance, a consultant. When a guy like Pete Buttigieg comes to your town, people are going to get laid off. Okay. It's the same principle behind Mitt Romney. When Mitt Romney comes to your town in middle America, you remember what has taken place after they leave, okay? That means layoffs are coming. They're eliminating redundancy. Anyway, he's too McKinsey pill to appeal to your average working class Midwestern dude. He's not someone you could see yourself having a beer with, as dumb as that sounds. Well, there's that too. All right. That is, we're done with the Pete Buttigieg rant that I was engaging in. We already talked about Zoran. Let's get back to the New York Times with some of the clips from. Okay, here we'll do this last Pete Buttigieg clip real quick. Here. This is a famous one. I love this clip.
On the front lines of corporate downsizing. You've been on the front lines of corporate price fixing. You've been on the front lines of our misadventures. I'm sorry, of our misadventures in foreign policy. You've had direct experience of many of the things that make a lot of young people very angry about the way that this country is operating right now. You don't seem to embody that anger.
So the proposition that I've been on the front lines of corporate price fixing is just to get that out of the way.
You worked for a company that was fixing bread prices.
No, I worked for a consulting company that had a client that may have been involved in fixing, or was apparently in a scandal. I was not aware of the Canadian bread pricing scandal until last night.
You've been on the front lines of corporate downsizing. You've been on the front lines of corporate price fixing. You've been on the front lines of our misadventures. I'm sorry, of our misadventures in foreign policy. You've had direct experience of many of the things that make a lot of young people very angry about the way that this country is operating right now. You don't seem to embody that anger.
So the proposition that I've been on the front lines of corporate price fixing is just to get that out of the way.
You worked for a company that was fixing bread prices.
No, I worked for a consulting company that had a client that may have been involved in fixing, or was apparently in a scandal. I was not aware of the Canadian bread pricing scandal until last night.
You've been on the front lines of corporate.
McKinsey is what Hogs think socialism is in all the worst ways. Yeah. Another part of the story, obviously, is that guys like Pete Buttigieg are hitters, right? They're corporate assassins, basically. And the way that McKinsey and consulting firms are designed is basically to reduce your workload and your responsibility in the mass layoffs that you're engaging in, so he can turn around and say, oh, well, we had a client. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just crunching numbers or whatever. When in fact, it basically operates in the same exact way. For those of you who don't know, corporate consultancy firms like McKinsey, like Bain, okay, PricewaterhouseCoopers, all of these companies are basically assassins, okay? And people that work for these companies basically operate like assassins. Or a better analogy, like a firing squad, okay? Firing squads will have some guns that are filled with blanks and some guns that are filled with real bullets. The reason why firing squads have blanks and real bullets is so that no one actually knows who's pulling the trigger, okay? And the division of responsibility in the consultancy structure is similar to that, okay? Where there is at least some kind of like responsibility sharing and also offloading some of that direct responsibility and culpability from the minds of all of these people that worked to engage in mass layoffs. It is a way for people to sleep comfortably at night, not thinking about how guilty they personally and individually are for all of those mass layoffs. That's it. No one gets fired for hiring McKinsey is well known in corporate America. Don't blame me. I was just doing a job someone told me to that without me would not be done, but someone else would do it if not me. And I want to buy the bread and do wild parties on the weekend. A lot of what Pete Buttigieg did at McKinsey is going to be engaging in the elimination of redundancy. That's the corporate speak for mass layoffs. So that's why I say, like, guys like this, when they come to your town, especially in the Midwest, especially in the Rust Belt, a lot of people have tremendous resentment for people like that